So, for me, teams play best when everyone has a specific role or a specific purpose, because it takes away from the randomness and unpredictability of a game and turns it more into a tactical and predictable game, which allows us to concentrate more on getting kills and wins rather than who's got what in the inventory and ending up with everyone carrying meds and no one carrying shields. So what roles do me and my team play? Well, first up we have me. My role is Gunny. The role of a gunny is exactly what it sounds like. It's the run and gun player. I always push up front. I'm always the first person to take the shot. I'm the person that makes the decisions, but unfortunately also the person that probably dies the most. Because I'm in the front line, I'm the first person they see. So if it's a 3 versus 1, they're all going to take aim at me. More times than not, I can knock one of the team, which turns into a 2v1, which means by the time my team turns up, we're in the advantage, allowing us to be in better position to get the kills and as strong as a team. As Gunny, I play with more weapons than any other items. I usually run 4 weapons and one what I like to refer to as a GTFO item. That for me is a shockwave grenade, a rift to go, or sometimes now with the new update, the porta fort. This just allows us to, in a pinch, get out of trouble. If we're in a gunfight we don't think we can win, or if we're just in a bad position and we think this is not a strong place to be, we use the item, we get out of there, we reset, we heal, and we go again. The 4 weapons I usually run is an assault rifle, a shotgun, an SMG, and most importantly the DMR. The DMR for me is the key, because it does so much damage. If I can spot a team, as long as they don't see me first, I can usually get 3-4 bullets off, which is enough to down one of them before they can even react. That then puts us in a 3v2 situation, which makes us stronger, and then therefore we usually win the gunfight. Not always, but gives us better odds. I usually use the assault rifle as a mid-range weapon, but towards the end of the game I usually drop it and swap it for heals, for the sole reason that my DMR can do enough damage, and hopefully we're in more of a close range gunfight where I can use my SMG and shotgun more than I would use my assault rifle. Next up we have my teammate Andrew, who plays the role of medic / scavenger. The role of the scavenger is to loot as much as possible, looting chests, ammo crates, supply drops, and just floor loot so they can have as much ammo as possible to share to the team, along with as much meds as possible to heal the team when needed. Andrew's role is very important because there's so many times where we get into a gunfight or we're in the game and we realise we don't have a lot of assault rifle bullets, a lot of shotgun bullets, SMG bullets, and Andrew's always the one who has the resources we need. With the role of a medic, Andrew's always the one that's carrying the shields, the med mist, everything, so that when we're in a gunfight, either during the gunfight or at the end of the gunfight, Andrew's in a position to share all the heals he can and keeps track of it and makes sure they're shared out evenly to make sure we're all in the best position possible, rather than having one teammate on 200 HP and one teammate on 75. And finally we have our third and last player, Jess, and Jess plays the role of support / survivor. Now the support role plays very similar to the gunny role, but Jess usually plays parallel to me, so if I'm going up the right side of a building, Jess will go to the left side. The support role does not play as aggressively and usually holds back and plays more strategically, takes shots down range and tries to help out with the third party kills and the assists rather than getting up in their faces like the role of the gunny does. As the survivor, Jess's job is to stay alive as long as possible. If there's a gunfight that she doesn't believe she can win, she can either leave the fight or rotate to a better position to give herself a better vantage point to finish off the battle and support the gunny as best as possible. The survivor is really important because they're the ones that can draw fire away from one of the teammates if they're weak, or can run away from the gunfight and hopefully get the revive later on in the game. It's important having the support role play parallel to the gunny, because in situations where someone's inside of a building, you can have one person come through the front door and one person come through the back door to pinch the enemy, which gives a better chance of winning the gunfight rather than you both going through the front door and getting lined up by a shotgun round. The support role usually runs 3 weapons or 2 sets of shields. This allows Jess to not only play the support role in the gunfights, but play the support role in the medic as well, being able to carry extra shields, usually the likes of a chug splash, so that they can be used instantly on everyone in the middle of the gunfight rather than having to wait for it to drink a whole shield. So what does the game look like from the perspective of my team? Well, first of all, when we're in the bus, we choose a location to drop. We usually try and drop in the same location every game so that we know exactly what the buildings are, where the loot usually is, and how to play that location, knowing the best vantage points and the best way of rotating around that POI. When we drop, we'll obviously try and get weapons straight away, because if there's enemies around us, we want to be able to win those gunfights straight away and give us time to loot. If there isn't an initial battle, or we've won the initial battle, the first thing is for everyone to find shields and share them around so we can all have the maximum amount of health as possible. And then Andrew, our scavenger, goes straight into scavenger mode. He goes and finds every ammo box he can find, every crate he can find, every chest he can find, to try and get as much loot as possible. Me, as the gunny, I try and go around and find the best guns I can, trying to find my DMR. That's the most important gun I need straight away, the DMR. Once I've got my DMR and I've got weapons I'm happy with, which is usually a DMR, shotgun, SMG is my minimum that I'll go, I'll then start heading out, trying to look for our next location, looking on the map, seeing where to rotate to have the best vantage point. Because for me, especially in zero build, you have to be able to move around the map and always put yourself in a position where you have natural cover, but also an advantage point, so that if you get into a gunfight, you can put yourself in a better position to win that gunfight or to survive and wait for your team. As I push ahead and Andrew is scavenging, Jess usually comes with me, playing the support role. We'll keep looking around, looking behind me, looking left and right as I run forward to make sure no one's following us, no one's around us, trying to keep our situational awareness at max. Sometimes Jess will stay back and start scavenging, but I'll spot an enemy and I'll call, depending on what the situation is, I'll call Jess, or I'll call Jess and Andrew to be able to win this gunfight. Jess, want to come with? If I'm in a position where my teammates are far away but I spot a team, I usually try my best to not take a shot, but if the shot's too obvious and too clean, I will take the shot and hope that my teammates can get to me before I get myself in a situation that I can't win. Throughout the game, we just keep rotating, trying to get to as close to the center of the new zone as possible, but trying to keep that height advantage or get into a building where we're a bit more secure. Going into the end game, we do the exact same thing, trying to keep that height advantage, trying to keep that natural cover, because you don't want to get caught in the open, running across a desert, running across a road where there's no cover and people can just shoot down on you, because there's no way of winning that. So keeping that natural cover, that height advantage, is so important to win the games. Towards the end game, we try and make use of our DMRs as best as we can, taking those shots down range, trying to put damage down, because even if we're not aiming for kills, there's an odd chance we can hit someone and get a kill, but mostly just chipping away at their shields, so that when it does come to that last gunfight, hopefully we'll be in a better position health-wise because we've taken their shields down. When it comes to that end gunfight, we always try and play as strategically as possible. Rather than all three of us pushing straight, we try and have one person go left, one person go right, one person go middle. At that point, it doesn't matter your role, it's just who's in the best position to go left, right and centre to get that kill. In that final gunfight, it's so important to have your communication say which enemy is weak, using the colours or the names of the skins so you know who to direct fire on. Because rather than all of you taking on one person each, if you all direct your fire on one person, you have a better chance at winning, because you can turn a fight from a 3v3 to a 3v2, and even though you're all weak, you can concentrate your fire and take them down one by one, which is a better way of putting your damage rather than everyone spreading their shots. And that's what we do. We don't win tons of games, but we can consistently get wins and we can consistently get kills. And it all comes down to just strategy, thinking about everything, and everyone playing their roles to the best of their ability, meaning that we don't have to worry about what each other are doing, because we already know what each other are doing, because we know our roles and we play the game. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. I've got lots of videos planned for the next few weeks, lots of tips and tricks and more insightful videos.